Welcome to the Strategic Living. Today, we dive into one of the most famous passages from Sun Tzu's The Art of War. He wrote, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." At first glance, this seems like simple advice for generals. But in reality, it is one of the most profound lessons for modern life. Knowing yourself and knowing others is the foundation of strategy, success, and resilience. Let's explore how these words, written thousands of years ago, still guide us today. Sun Tzu's passage is built on two pillars: self-knowledge and awareness of others. Knowing yourself means being brutally honest about your strengths, weaknesses, habits, and blind spots. Many people overestimate their abilities or ignore their flaws. But Sun Tzu reminds us that self-deception is the fastest path to defeat. Knowing your enemy means understanding the challenges, the competition, and even the environment you are in. It means seeing reality clearly, not as you wish it to be. Victory is born from clarity. Let's break this down with an example from history. In the year 216 BC, during the Second Punic War, the Roman army faced Hannibal of Carthage at the Battle of Cannae. The Romans had greater numbers and believed they could crush Hannibal through sheer force. But Hannibal knew his enemy well. He understood their confidence, their aggression, and their reliance on numbers. He also knew himself. His cavalry was stronger, his troops were disciplined, so he lured the Romans into a trap, surrounding them from all sides. Despite being outnumbered, Hannibal destroyed a massive Roman army. He won not because of luck, but because he understood both himself and his enemy. Now, let's bring this wisdom into modern life. In business, companies fail when they ignore their weaknesses or underestimate competitors. Think of Kodak, once the leader in photography. They knew themselves as a film company, but they ignored the rise of digital cameras. Their lack of awareness of change became their downfall. On the other hand, companies like Netflix thrived because they understood both themselves and the environment. They saw that streaming would replace DVDs, and they prepared before the competition reacted. This is Sun Tzu's wisdom in action. Know yourself, know others, and you will prevail. But this idea doesn't only apply to business. It applies to our personal lives as well. In relationships, many conflicts happen because we fail to understand ourselves and fail to understand others. We react with pride, ego, or assumptions instead of clarity. But when you step back, study your emotions, and seek to understand the perspective of others, conflicts dissolve. In careers, success is not only about talent, but also about knowing the demands of your field. You might be skilled, but if you don't study what employers want, or if you ignore your weaknesses, you will struggle to grow. In self-improvement, knowing yourself is the starting point. If you know you procrastinate, you can build systems to overcome it. If you know you thrive in the morning, you can schedule your most important work early. Self-knowledge creates strategy. Sun Tzu also warns what happens when we lack this knowledge. He wrote, "If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle." In other words, ignoring reality guarantees failure. Many people live on autopilot. They do not study their own habits, and they do not study the challenges ahead. As a result, they repeat the same mistakes again and again. But those who take time to reflect, analyze, and prepare become unstoppable. Think of an athlete preparing for competition. They don't just train blindly. They study their own performance, their nutrition, their sleep. They also study their opponents, their playing style, their strengths and weaknesses. When the game begins, victory is not a surprise. It is the result of preparation. Life works the same way, whether it is a job interview, a relationship, or a personal project. The more clearly you see yourself and others, the greater your chances of success. So how can you practice Sun Tzu's wisdom in daily life? First, practice reflection. Take time each day to ask, what did I do well? Where did I fall short? What can I improve tomorrow? This simple habit builds self-knowledge. Second, study your environment. Pay attention to trends, to the behavior of people around you, to the challenges you may face. Preparation begins with awareness. Third, balance confidence with humility. Sun Tzu never said to fear the enemy, but he warned against arrogance. True strength comes from clarity, not pride. Finally, remember that every challenge is an opportunity to learn. Even setbacks can reveal truths about ourselves and others that prepare us for future victories. Sun Tzu's passage is not only about war, it is about living strategically. To know yourself and to know others is to see the world as it is. And when you see clearly, you act with wisdom. So as you go through your own battles, ask yourself, do I know my strength? Do I know my weaknesses? Do I truly understand the challenge in front of me? If the answer is yes, then victory is already within reach. Sun Tzu wrote, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." These words are as true today as they were thousands of years ago. Preparation, awareness, and honesty with ourselves are the foundations of victory. Thank you for joining me on The Strategic Living. For more insights from the art of war applied to modern life, subscribe and stay tuned. And remember, every great victory begins with knowledge.